Good evening, students. In this video lesson, we are going to discuss the topics promotion, transfer, demotion. These are the small concepts in the fourth unit. Now, internal mobility. What is internal mobility? As the name suggests, moving the employees from one level to another, from one job to another within the company. That is, if you found any employees performing well, he's a dynamic, he's a challenging person. So obviously, need not to go to the outside. You just hire the employee. You just place the employees of your own company to higher levels, to higher positions. That is called as movement of employees. This is called as internal mobility. Now, internal mobility can be done in three ways: in the form of promotion, in the form of transfer, and in the form of demotion. Demotion is something like something punishment, but promotion and transfers are nothing but uplifting the employee. Now, next slide comes to the what is promotion. What is promotion? Advancement of an employee to a better job. You know very well the word promotion. It is a very common word. It is a very common uttered word by the public. See, if a candidate, if a student passed a lower class with marks, and he will be promoted to the higher class. Just like MBA first year completed, promoted to second year. In the same way, promotion is a very common word in the employment world. Advancement of an employee to a better job. Promoting an employee to a better job is called as promotion. It can be done through promotion. What will happen? The employee is going to get greater responsibility. He is getting more responsibility. He is having more prestige. A goodwill is there. Importance will be there for him, and he is having greater skills. And at the same time, altogether, his pay will be increased. His salary will be increased. So obviously, if you are promoted to a higher position, if you are promoted to a new job or a position, obviously your salary will be hiked. You will get more goodwill, more importance, more recognition, and at the same time responsibility will be there for you, and you are going to enhance your skills also. And this is the definition given by Pigers. And the main conditions of promotion. What are the main conditions? First one, reassignment of a higher level job to an employee than what he is presently performing. Reassignment of a higher level job. Suppose he is performing as a sales executive. Now he will be asked to hold as a sales manager. Suppose he was a junior manager in a branch, and he will be asked to hold as a branch head, a branch manager. So reassign, giving some more work, some more obligations, some more duties to a particular employee. And next, delegation of greater responsibility and authority. Obviously, once you have been promoted to higher level, your shoulders will get more authority and more responsibility. You need to discharge more duties, and obviously your promotion will be hiked. And next, what is the purpose of promotion? What is the purpose? What is the reason for promotion? So promotion purpose means, see, if you are not hiring the people from outside, because you are observing, you are seeing your own organization has plenty of employees who are performing well, who are very dynamic, creative, then you need not to go outside. You need not to hire people from outside. So the purpose here is utilizing the employees of your own company, their skills, their knowledge, and by using their skill, knowledge, their competencies, you are utilizing the organizational resources in an effective way. At the same time, what will happen, not only your organizational resources are being used optimally, but employees are being satisfied. Why? Because you are identifying them, you are recognizing them, their skills will be identified by you. So they are satisfied. Once they're satisfied, they have more morale, they are more zeal, enthusiastic towards work, and they do lots of, they will do miracles in the organization. And at the same time, develop competitive spirit and inculcate the zeal. See, suppose in a team of employees, you just picked one employee because of his performance, because of his creative role. Other people thought that yes, if we do well, if we perform well, if we perform better, we will also be given a chance to hold a higher position. So this creates a kind of competitive spirit among the employees. And here, KSA is nothing but ask principle. Attitude, skills, and knowledge will have to be enhanced. build loyalty and boost morale. That's what. See, you are not hiring people from outside. You are just taking the people from within the company. People who have the knowledge, they will be promoted. Who are having the intellectuality, they will be given the higher post. So obviously, people employees think that yes, my organization is recognizing me. My organization is paying me more. So I should be very much loyal towards my organization. That kind of loyalty will be developed among the employees, and once you get loyalty towards your company, your organization, employer, obviously do more productive will be done by you. And a competitive source of employee for higher level job, and reward committed and loyal employees. So if you are loyal, reward will be, obviously reward will come together, reward will follow you. Okay, promote employee self development. Yes, self development in the sense, see, by observing, yes, if I am having merit, I will be promoted to higher levels. So this makes you want to reach your, you want to increase your merit, you want to increase your knowledge, you want to increase your skills. That is called as self development. And the reduce labor turnover. That means people will never go outside of the company because you are being offered more opportunity in the company itself. The next slide deals with the types of promotion. What are the different types of promotion? We have different types of promotion. Among them, we have vertical promotion, upgradation, dry promotion. So here, these slides show vertical promotion, upgradation, and dry promotion. Vertical in the sense, as the name suggests, like a hierarchy, like a pyramid shape of hierarchy. Like suppose you are a supervisor, now then you will be asked to hold the sales executive, then branch manager, then manager, or else president, vice president, like that, or a CMO, chief marketing officer, like that. The positions will be given to you to the next higher level, just like a pyramid shape. Employee moves to the next higher level in the organizational hierarchy with greater responsibility, authority, pay, and status. This is called as vertical, right? Upgradation. Now, it is not like you will be asked to hold the high, like in a vertical. This will not be happened in a vertical move or a pyramid movement, but here your job is upgraded in the organizational hierarchy. Like for example, you are LDC, lower division clerk, but at the same time you will be promoted as UDC, upper division clerk, but you will be asked to hold the responsibility of LDC itself. Because of lack of vacancies, because of limited vacancies at UDC, you will be asked to hold the LDC position, but your pay is UDC pay. Your responsibility is UDC, upper division clerk responsibility. This is called as upgradation. So your job is upgraded. Your job is you are being given assigned more authority, more pay will be given, but you are holding the same. You will be your position is different, but you are holding the same responsibility. And next, dry promotion. Employees move to the next higher level in organization hierarchy with greater responsibility, authority, and status, but no increase in salary. So, the dry promotion is you will be asked to hold the obligation or responsibility. You will be asked to hold the higher position in the organization hierarchy, but your salary and your pay will be the same. It is it is less compared to the higher position that has to be offered. So these are the three types of promotions a company is having. So I have mentioned a picture, an image where best employees will be picked and they will be asked to go to a ladder. In the same way, see, in the promotion, nobody will go to the everybody will can't go to the particular positions. Only the person who is having the talent, he will be given positions to the top level. And next one is basis of promotion. Coming to the basis of promotion, there are three bases. Most of the companies or the government organizations follow three types of or three bases of promotion. On the basis of merit, on the basis of seniority, on the basis of merit comes seniority. On the basis of merit you know very well. The person who is having more knowledge, skills, competencies, he is outperforming compared to others, and this person will be asked to hold the positions. It denotes an employee's skill, knowledge, ability, efficiency and aptitude. So these particular parameters will measure whether employee will be promoted or not to be promoted, whether he has to be promoted or not to be promoted. So these parameters, these factors like his skills, his knowledge, his efficiency, his ability, his aptitude towards work and his educational background, his training and employment record, everything will be studied, everything will be considered in order to promoting an employee to a higher position. This is called merit. Second level is seniority. Most of the government organizations, they will have the promotions basing on the seniority. Most of the government or many of the government organizations. A positive correlation between the length of the service in the same job and the amount of. It assumes basically the seniority, a senior person will have good merit or outperforming compared to other persons, is a creative, dynamic. There is no such clarity is there in the seniority. We can't expect that a seniority person by just having experience, he will hold all these things. But here the assumption is he will have a correlation, he will have an association between the length years of service and the length years of service he put on the same job and the knowledge, the skills he acquired on the same job makes him to move to the higher positions. Next one is merit cum seniority. Even in corporates, some of the corporates in the public, private sector, banks also, this type of promotion is being followed. That is merit cum seniority, where both his knowledge, experience at the same time and his seniority will be considered in promoting him. A combination of both for satisfying the management. Next, promotion policy. Every organization will set up a promotion policy. It will have every organization has to design it. A policy is a guideline. It just gives us a roadmap. Like every company will have a promotion policy. A sound promotion policy will help us, will boost a morale among the employees. Yes, if we perform well, if we do activities in a dynamic way, we will be definitely being recognized by our organization. This thought makes employees to work more, to produce more. Right? What a sound promotion policy will tell us. A sound promotion policy should be uniform. Uniform in the sense it need to consider each and every employee in a consistently constant way. In the sense all are equal for him. All are equal, justifiable. In the sense no partiality should be shown, no partiality should be given basing on the kith and kin, basing on the region or the sex or else religion, etc. It should be uniform, equally important every employee in the eyes of the company. Consistent in the sense, see, this year suppose we promoted 5 people, in the same way in the next year also we have to follow the same consistency. 5 people should be promoted. A policy should be created where consistency will be given. Like this year 5 people or else 10 people. So next year also 10 people. Or this year 1, next year also 1 or 2. Like this consistency should be applied uniformly to all employees, and it should be fair and impartial. No bias and no any other kind of conflicting in nature. This particular promotion policy, it should be systematic line of promotion channel. Systematic, whether what base they are using, whether they are using merit or seniority or merit cum seniority, and whatever the base they are using in promoting the employees, it should be systematic according to the promotion channel. Equal opportunities to all the employees who are performing well. Clear cut norms, rules and regulations, guidelines should be very clear. While why an employee being promoted, this should be judged clearly. If anybody asks, if anybody questions the company's policy, the company should be in a position to substantiate why this employee being promoted. Appropriate authority should make the final decision. Even then, in the promotion policies also, a committee will be formed, and this committee will take the decisions. In case of any grievances from any section of the employees, this committee is going to solve, is going to answer. Favoritism should be avoided. No favoritisms, not at all. This favoritism should be avoided. must contain promotional counseling, encouragement, guidance and follow-up. See, if anybody is not able to be promoted because of at least points of performance appraisal, a counseling should be given to him. Encouragement, maybe not this time, next time you will be definitely will be promoted. Guidance will be should be given, and definite basis of promotion. What is the base of promotion will be clear. And next one is a very interesting word, that is glass ceiling. It is actually a metaphor used in order to discourage a sector, a demographic of a particular a sect of people, or a demographic unit of people. Like for example, women can't hold the higher positions, women can't hold the CEO positions, or else certain sets of people from minorities, or backward regions, or rural areas, or backward people, they can't hold the top positions. This kind of a kind of a ceiling, a kind of a disrespect will be created, and this is called as glass ceiling, right? It is an invisible barrier. It is like invisible in the sense it may not, we can't see it directly through eyes, but it is existing. It is in the, it has been perceived by some of the people, it has been in the minds of some of the people that women can't hold the higher position, women can't become the boss, or else people from minorities, or else people from backward areas, they can't hold the responsibilities. This is like a barrier, and it is also being this plays very crucial role in the promotions of the employee, and this should be avoided, and this should be cancelled. And next one is, we came to the next concept, that is transfer. So we have completed promotion, the basis of promotion, the promotion policies, the types, etc. we have completed. Now coming to the transfer is also in the promotion you are being given a higher position, in the promotion you have been offered a higher responsibility, but in the transfer it is a lateral movement, that's all. It's a side by side movement, it's a face to face movement, that's all. It is a lateral movement of an employee in the hierarchy of position with the same pay and status. Suppose you are a LDC, lower division clerk, in the Vijayawada branch, or else in Kanur branch. Now we will be asked to hold the LDC position in Padamata branch. So the same position, the same responsibility, the same pay and the status. Moving of an employee from one job to another, it may involve promotion, demotion, or no change in the job status. Maybe sometimes what will happen, in the transfer, suppose from one branch to another branch, in the same position you are going to hold. Sometimes you will be asked to hold the higher position, and you will be asked to move to the next branch. Suppose you are working now here in the Vijayawada branch as branch manager. Now you will be asked to go to the Nellore and to hold two other branches as a manager. There the position has been changed. You have been given two branches now. So this can also be happened in the transfer. A lateral shift causing movement of individuals from one position to another, usually without involving any marked change in duties, responsibilities, skills needed or compensation. So as per Elder, this definition is a very good definition. It is a lateral shift causing movement of individuals from one place to another, without involving any marked change, no change in duties, no change in responsibilities, and no change in skills, and even in compensation is also. This is called as transfer. Maybe company or individual initiated. Sometimes company will bring this initiation to change the person from one place to another person, or sometimes as the individual himself will take the initiative. Like for example, suppose families were there at Rajahmundry, and you person is working in Vijayawada. If you want to move to your family, then you put a paper, you put a plea before the company that my family is there, I'm having kids, just I want to move to the Rajahmundry. So after having your plea, after receiving your request, the company may thought that okay, let him go to the Rajahmundry. So this is called as employee initiated. If you take an initiative to move from one place to another place because of your own personal reason, this is called as employee initiated transfer. Sometimes company may thought that yes, he is a capable person. Instead of here, he will be why don't we transfer him to that area? Why don't he ask him to hold that position? This is called as company initiative. Let us see the image, the transfer of employees. So same level of responsibility, same level of skills, same level of background is there for transfer. So see, in the same way, here just is a jump from one place to another place. Even for, sometimes transfer will also be done. See, look at this image. Suppose here we have outnumber of employees. Here we have a very less number or a shortage of employees. We just move the employees. This is right sizing or downsizing. Or else we want to reduce the employees from here and we want to move to him to another way, another store, another branch, another office. This is also called as transfer or movement. Reasons for transfer. Reasons for transfer. What are the reasons for transfer? What are the reasons for transfers? Means there are so many reasons I have put here in this slide. I just read out because these are the self-explainable points. Maybe organizational requirements. Suppose here some of the missionaries are not working, production is not going on, and we need not necessarily, we don't need any many employees here, and we want to move to the another administrative block or any other assembly line where needed people are where people are needed, and satisfy employee needs. To satisfy the needs of the employee, productivity, to increase the employee productivity, make employees more versatile in the sense capable of change. Wherever they go, they have to handle the duties. If it is in the first stage in the assembly line or in the stores or in the packing, wherever they have to handle the responsibility, they should know how the process of production is going on, how the process of marketing and sales is going on. Wherever they have been promoted, wherever they have been put, they need to work, right? So once you moving on, just once you are rotating the employee, they learn many things. Adjust the workforce from one plant to another, layoffs and that's what I told you. Suppose company shut down, no production, you want to move the people from one branch to another. Give relief to employees who are overburdened. Suppose overburdened, higher amounts of work they are doing, they have excessive work. So for them to reduce the excessiveness among their shoulders, we are transferring. And correct interpersonal conflicts. Suppose any conflicts, any kind of disturbances or any kind of misunderstandings among the employees, to correct them, to rectify them, you are just moving them. And here, and employees timings and workplace. Suppose some of the employees are coming far away, their houses are far away, it is difficult to come to that branch which is outside of the city or somewhere in the outskirts of the city. If they put a request before you that we want to be given a chance to stay to work at that particular place which is near to my home, so that kind of adjustments, if the employee is asking some adjustment regarding his timing and regarding his workplace or regarding his working conditions, for that also you just post them, you just give them transfer. Penalizing employees. Yes, suppose if the employee is having doing some misconduct, is having some misconduct, misbehavior, is indisciplined, to penalize him, to punish him, you just transfer from one branch to another. This will be happen in most of the police departments, in the army, in the navy. And minimize corruption and frauds. Yes, suppose in most of the government organizations will have this kind of transfer. Suppose an employee who is working at a particular desk at a particular place is doing more fraud, is more corrupted, after observing, after getting so many complaints over his performance, then he will be asked to go to the another position, are reducing the dealings with the customers and suppliers. Maintenance of tenure system. Maintenance of tenure means period. To maintain the periods. This person has been, this, for example, a person is holding the office from law since 10 years, since 2000 something like that. Here, so much of time he was there. So many years he worked there. Let him move to the another position. This is called as tenure system. And next one is the next one is principles of transfer. Even in the transfer also we have to follow, every company has to follow certain principles. Certain principles. Those principles are like they should be in writing. Whenever you are transferring the employee, they should be in writing. they should be in writing and known to all employees. Should clearly state type and circumstances of transfer. Why you are transferring, what is the reason, and what type of transfer you are doing, and basis, what is the basis for, and what are the grounds of transfer, authority responsible, which authority, which authority or which manager is responsible for transferring you or initiating or implementing the transfer, and area or unit where you have been transferred, and rate of pay where, suppose you have been transferred, suppose for example now in Vijayawada you working, suppose you will be asked to hold the same position at Hyderabad. See, the cost of living at Hyderabad is higher compared to Vijayawada. So obviously, how much of rate of pay you are being given when you are being transferred should not be made too frequently. Transfer should not be made too frequently. If they are made too frequently, it is against to the transfer policy. It's a kind of frustration on the point of the employee also. How many times he will transfer? See, he has to look after his family, his children also. And without any reason, you should not take the transfer policy repeatedly or immediately, and should state whether training or retraining is required on the new job. So before transferring an employee, you should inform that how much of training is required in order to hold that position or that particular obligation. So these are the principles that a company has to follow before transferring an employee. Now this slide just focused on types of transfer. What are the different types of transfer? We have four different types of transfers. One is on the basis of production transfer, replacement transfer, and again on the basis of purpose of shift transfer, remedial transfer, versatility transfer. Let us focus what are the different types of transfer. Production transfer. Just now I told you that I have explained this. Suppose now in this particular plant there is no much production. The production is not going on, and there is need not necessary of that many employees. So you need to reduce the employees here. You want to downsize the employees, and you want to promote them. You want to transfer them where the production is higher, where the production is more is going on. So this is called as right sizing the employee. It is caused due to changes in production. And suppose in another plant more orders, you got more orders where more employees are needed, more workers are needed. There you are going to transfer from one department to another due to decrease or increase in labor requirements to prevent layoffs. Transfer is carried out at the same occupational level, that is for similar type of work. So these 3 points just inform us, just focus that suppose in a particular plant, if the work is not going on due to layoff or retrenchment, or because of machines are not working and no orders in this particular plant, and your requirement, your work is needed at another plant or at another place, so obviously you will be asked to go there and to hold that particular position. This is called as production transfer. And second one is replacement transfer. Replacement transfer in the sense this is happened, why this was happened means you are a long standing employee in a particular position, you are working since 20 years or 30 years in the same position, your dealings with the customers, your dealings with the suppliers or creditors are so big, or else you can say so strong, that you are doing certain bribe, or you are becoming corrupted person there. So to reduce that one, to minimize that one, or to eradicate that one, the organization or the company may take a decision, why don't you will be asked to go to another position, because your tenure of work is long standing, you are a long standing person here. So that is called as replacement. Also to prevent layoffs. Layoffs in the sense no work or no production. And the second one is a shift transfer. Shift transfer, most of the public sector organizations or the manufacturing sectors in the public sector like VTPS or APGenco, Transco, or many of the production companies, they will have the shift. The morning shift is there, the night shift is there, the day shift is there. See, suppose most of the times you are working in the night shifts only, and now you put a plea, you put a requisition. Many of times I have worked for night shifts, I want to come to the day shift, or I want to do a morning shift. So after observing your request, the organization may take a decision, okay, let him give a chance to work in the day shift or in the morning shift. This is called as a shift transfer. One shift to another on the same work. Next, to balance the requirements of certain employees. See, yeah, that is the most important point. No woman employee will be asked to stay at the night times. No woman employee will be given the night shifts. So, whenever a woman employee being asked to or will be given assigned a night shift work, that you can change or reshift, or you can change like women's specific reasons, due to the personal reasons of women. Now you can place the male persons in the place of women. This is called a shift transfer, remedial transfer, to correct the wrong placements due to interpersonal. These two are the remedial. Some mistake is done, some mistake has already happened. To rectify that mistake, if you take or if you do transfer, this is called as remedial. Suppose wrong persons being placed, or wrongly a person being transferred to another position. To rectify that, you will do remedial. And suppose people are conflicting, people are quarreling, some kind of misunderstanding are there among the employees. Due to misunderstanding, this is going to reflect on the work, on the productivity. So as a manager, you have a right to just transfer to reduce those conflicts. And versatility transfer. Versatility means capable of being changed. Whatever be the challenge, you are ready to accept the challenge. Suppose continuously you are doing as a cashier, you just learn the things of cashier only. Suppose if you have been promoted, or if you have been rotated or transferred sometime at the reception, or sometime at the deposit, sometime at the loan section. So obviously you learn many things at a one particular branch itself. So to increase that efficiency of the employees, managers, what they do is they will follow the versatility transfer. And to provide broader and wider perspective of the job, to employee prepare for future promotions, versatility transfers are needed. And now we came to the last topic in this fourth unit, in the sense, in this particular concept, that is demotions. Demotion is quite against to the transfer and promotion. Promotion and transfer are a positive mark on behalf of the employee. Suppose if the employee is performing well, he will be given promotion. If the employee is good, or else because of his personal reasons, he will be asked to go to another branch. Demotion means because of indiscipline, or because of misconduct, or because of misbehavior, or some because of some kind of things that were happened, that makes the organization to take such a vast decision or a wide decision to give him a demotion. Most of the time in the public sector, particularly in the Navy, Army, in the defense sectors, you are going to find this type of demotions, right? It is one type of internal mobility. Yes, it is internal mobility, moving from one to another, one place to another. It is the opposite to promotion. It is a reassignment of a lower level job to an employee with the delegation of responsibility and authority required to perform that lower level job, and normally with lower level pay. When this was happened, because you are not, you did something which is not supposed to be done by you. You did some wrong. Your behavior is wrong. You have a misconduct. That is the reason organization has taken that step, and because of that step, you will be asked to hold the lower level job. Organizations use demotion less frequently as it affects the employees' career prospects and morale. So only at certain strong points only this kind of things will happen. This kind of judgment will be given by the top management. But many of times demotions will not be considered by the management. Why? Because it is going to affect the career options of the employee, and it is going to reduce the morale and the zeal and enthusiasm and the loyalty of the employee. See this particular diagram, as he has been thrown out from CEO position to a staff. It's a very bad thing. From CEO post to staff, it's very meager, very bad thing. This should not be happen to anybody. How much of like morale will be reduced, how much of discouragement for him. So this should not be happen, and management will never take this kind of decisions. Reasons for demotions. What are the reasons? Let us see what are the reasons why this was being happened in the organization. Unsuitability of the employee to higher level jobs. Suppose we promoted a person, we placed a person in a higher obligation job or in higher responsibility job. After observing, he is not able to fulfill those obligations which are on his shoulders. At those reasons, because of those reasons, at this junction, the organization can take a decision to demote him. adverse business conditions, suppose not able to handle the conditions of the business, business is running in the losses, no profits, the manager or the CEO who is happy he should be happen to work and make the people to work and to achieve the productivity, but he's not doing in such a way. So for that reasons also, in the adverse reasons also, management has a right to demote. New technology, suppose the members who have been promoted are not able to understand the new technology, they are not adhered to new technology, they are not able to use the technology and methods of operation at the demand, then he can be demoted. Employees are demoted on disciplinary grounds. Obviously the people are not good, misconduct, so they will be demoted. Now, demotion principles. Even demotion has certain principles, certain guidelines, certain policies, their demotion policy. Whenever you thought, whenever you got an idea in your mind and you just are sitting here, you just say, you can't say the employee, you are fired, you have to leave, you just get out from the job or go from the job. You can't say like that. There is certain policy principles are there. Organizations has to adhere to those policies. What are those? Should clearly specify the demotion policy, should have a clear-cut demotion policy. On what grounds an employee should be retrenched, on what grounds an employee should be fired. This should be clear. There should not be any ambiguity in that aspect. Why? Because if anything will happen, employee will approach to the court of law. He can find a sue against the company. So to avoid all those headaches, organization should have a clear-cut demotion policy. A systematic demotion policy should contain these two items. One, specification of circumstances under which an employee will be demoted, like reduction in operations and discipline cases. So, a systematic procedure. What is the reason why a person being demoted? Why he has been mobilized from top position to the lower position? Because he is because of his performance, the company is getting to the losses. The company is going for losses, and because of his actions, the company is unable to show good results in the operations. And his misbehavior towards women employee, towards the supervisors, towards colleagues, these are the reasons he has been demoted. That clarity, that specification must be there in the minds of the management at the top of the company. Specification of a superior who is authorized and responsible to initiate a demotion. Yes, specifically a principle, a guideline should be there. Who has the right to demote a person? Who has the right to mobilize a person from top position to lower position? That authority, who has that authority? Who has the responsibility should be clearly specified. So see, my dear student, with this we have completed all the three concepts: promotion, transfer and demotion. All the three concepts are important from short essay point of view. With this I am closing my session. Thank you.